What's good, SKOL Nation? Buckle up, because the Minnesota Vikings just dropped a bombshell in training camp that's got us all buzzing. After 47 days without a free agency move, the Vikings finally broke the silence by signing safety Gervarrius Owens and waving goodbye to linebacker Max Tooley. Is this the spark our secondary needs, or just a depth move for the practice squad? Let's dive into this Vikings news and unpack what it means for our 2025 campaign. This move comes as training camp heats up in Eagan, with the first preseason game just around the corner. Owens, a former 7th-round pick, brings intrigue with his college pedigree and special teams grit, but he's got a steep climb to crack our loaded safety room. Can he pull off a Theo Jackson-like rise from obscurity to starter? Stick with me for 10 electrifying scenes as we break it all down, and let me know in the comments what you think of this roster shakeup. We're talking stats, scouting reports, and the big picture for our Vikings defense under Brian Flores. From Owens' explosive college tape to Tooley's mullet-fueled journey, this video's got it all. So, grab your horns, hit that like button, and let's get into why this move could be a sneaky game-changer for the Minnesota Vikings. SKOL, Vikings fans, the drought is over, and the Minnesota Vikings are back in the free agency game. After 47 days of silence, yeah, we were all starting to wonder if Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was on vacation. Our GM made a splash by signing safety Gervarrius Owens on Wednesday. This move, straight from the heart of training camp, signals the Vikings are tweaking their roster for the 2025 grind. Owens, a 25-year-old former 7th-round pick by the Giants in 2023, isn't a household name yet. But Vikings news broke fast, with Vikings.com's Craig Peters announcing the transaction, and The Athletic's Alec Lewis noting Owens' special teams experience with the Giants and Titans. Why now? With the preseason looming, the Vikings are fortifying their secondary depth, and Owens could be the dark horse we didn't see coming. So what's the vibe in Eagan? Training camp is in full swing, and this move feels like a chess play by Brian Flores to keep the defense versatile. Is Owens here to compete for a roster spot, or is he practice squad bound? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this signing shakes up our secondary, or is it just camp noise? Let's keep rolling. Let's talk about who Gervarrius Owens is. SKOL Nation. This dude's journey to the Vikings is a story of grit. A 7th-round pick, 254th overall, by the Giants in 2023, Owens bounced from New York to Tennessee before landing in Minnesota. He's only played 5 NFL games, with just 1 defensive snap, but his 41 special teams snaps show he's got heart where it counts. At the University of Houston, Owens was a beast, racking up 208 tackles, 7.5 for loss, for interceptions, and 22 passes defensed over 46 games. He was a 4-year starter and team captain, earning first-team All-AAC honors in 2021 and second-team in 2022. NFL Draft Buzz called him an explosive mover who loves attacking downhill. Sounds like a Brian Flores kind of guy, right? But here's the kicker. Owens isn't guaranteed a roster spot. He's got to climb a mountain to make the 53-man roster, and his scouting report from NFL.com's Lance Zierlein raises some flags about missed tackles and field vision. Can he polish those rough edges in camp? Vikings fans, what's your take? Is Owens a hidden gem, or just a camp body? Hit the comments. Now let's shine a light on the guy we let go, Max Tooley. SKOL Nation, pour one out for the mullet-wearing linebacker who brought style but not enough substance to stick around. The Vikings waived the 27-year-old Tooley to make room for Owens, a move that stings but makes sense. Tooley, an undrafted free agent from BYU, joined Minnesota in September 2024, but never saw a regular season snap. Tooley's college career was solid 6 years at BYU with bowl trips in 5, but the Vikings linebacker room is stacked. With Ivan Pace Jr., Blake Cashman, Eric Wilson, rookie Kobe King, and Brian Asamoah II, Tooley was a long shot for the 53-man roster. The Athletic's Alec Lewis even projected he wouldn't make the cut, noting his mustache and mullet were his biggest highlights so far. Ouch! Still, Tooley got a futures contract in January, so the Vikings saw something in him. Could he return to the practice squad? Or is this the end of his purple journey? Vikings news doesn't sleep, so we'll keep you posted. What do you think, SKOL Nation? Did we make the right call cutting Thule? Let's hear it below. Let's zoom in on the Vikings safety room, SKOL Nation. It's a crowded house. Gervarrius Owens is stepping into a secondary that's already loaded with talent, and he's got his work cut out. The current depth chart reads like a who's who of playmakers. Harrison Smith, Josh Metellus, Theo Jackson, Jay Ward, Mishael Powell, and now Owens. That's 6 safeties vying for spots. Harrison Smith, the ageless wonder, and Josh Metellus, fresh off a 4-year, $36 million deal, are locks to start. Theo Jackson, who started as a camp body 3 years ago, is now a starter. Proof that underdogs can rise in Minnesota. Owens, though, might need to outshine Ward and Powell to avoid the practice squad. Vikings.com says he's a special teams asset, but can he carve out a defensive role? Here's the suspense. With Cameron Bynum gone and Smith possibly in his final year, the Vikings are planning for the future. Could Owens be a long-term piece, or is he just preseason depth? SKOL Nation, who's your pick to make the final roster, Ward, Powell, or Owens? Drop your predictions in the comments and let's debate. Time to break down Owens' scouting report. Vikings fans. Before the 2023 NFL Draft, NFL.com's Lance Zierlein gave us the lowdown on Gervarrius Owens, and it's a mixed bag. Zierlein praised Owens' physical tools. His cornerback background helps him match routes in man coverage, and he's a willing hitter. But there's a catch. His field vision and instincts need work, and he's had too many missed tackles. NFL Draft Buzz, though, was more optimistic, calling Owens quicker than he is fast, with a burst to close in zone coverage. They loved his downhill aggression, saying he's at his best shooting gaps and disrupting the backfield. At Houston, he posted a 9.21 relative athletic score, ranking 78th out of 974 free safeties since 1987. That's elite athleticism, SKOL Nation. The big question: can Owens fix the flaws Zierlein flagged? Training camp is his proving ground, and with Brian Flores' creative schemes, he might find a niche. What do you think, Vikings fans? Can Owens turn his athletic gifts into NFL production? Hit the comments and let's talk potential. Let's talk special teams, SKOL Nation, because that's where Gervarrius Owens might make his mark. In his 5 NFL games, Owens logged 41 special teams snaps, mostly with the Giants in 2023, and even recovered a fumble. Vikings News highlights his role as a special teams asset, and in Minnesota, that's a big deal. Our special teams unit is a game-changer under coordinator Matt Daniels. Remember that wild moment in a 2023 preseason game when Owens' mouthguard got stuck in his helmet's ventilation hole against the Lions? That's the kind of quirky energy he brings. But seriously, his college tape shows a knack for big plays. 2 blocked kicks at Houston prove he's got hustle. Could he be the next special teams ace for the Vikings? Here's the drama. Special teams often decide roster spots for bubble players like Owens. With the preseason approaching, every snap counts. SKOL Nation, do you see Owens shining on kickoffs or punt coverage? Drop your thoughts below and tell me if he's got that special teams swagger. Let's rewind to a Vikings success story. SKOL Nation, Theo Jackson. 3 years ago, Jackson was a camp body, signed in a low-key move like Owens. Fast forward to 2025, and he's a starter in our secondary. This is why Vikings fans are buzzing about Owens. Minnesota has a knack for turning underdogs into difference-makers under Brian Flores. Jackson's rise wasn't easy. He grinded through special teams, earned defensive snaps, and now pairs with Smith and Metellus in a fierce safety trio. Owens, at 25, is at a similar crossroads. His college stats, 208 tackles, for picks, mirror Jackson's potential, but he'll need to outwork Jay Ward and Mishael Powell to follow that path. Vikings News loves these stories, and we do too. So here's the hook. Could Owens be the next Theo Jackson? Training camp battles will tell the tale, and with the first preseason game looming, the pressure's on. What's your vibe, SKOL Nation? Is Owens a future starter or a practice squad guy? Hit the comments and let's dream big. Let's look at the big picture, Vikings fans, why this move matters for 2025. The Vikings defense is evolving under Brian Flores, and adding Owens shows Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's focus on depth and competition. With Cameron Bynum gone and Harrison Smith's career winding down, Minnesota is building for now and the future. Owens might not start, but he's insurance against injuries and a potential special teams spark. Training camp is where rosters take shape, and the Vikings are all in on versatility. Owens' athleticism, 9.21 RAS, elite burst, fits Flores' aggressive style, but he's got to prove it on the field. The waiver of Max Tooley, meanwhile, signals confidence in our linebacker depth with Pace, Cashman, and Asamoah. Vikings news is heating up, and we're here for it. Here's the suspense. Will Owens seize this chance, or fade into the preseason haze? The Vikings' first preseason game will give us clues, and I can't wait to see him in purple. SKOL Nation, what's your gut saying? Does this move excite you for 2025? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about what's next for Gervarrius Owens, SKOL Nation. At 25, he's young enough to grow but old enough to know the NFL's grind. Turning 26 during Minnesota's bye week in October, Owens has a narrow window to impress in camp and preseason. His one defensive snap with the Titans last year shows he's still raw, but his 41 special teams snaps scream opportunity. The Vikings' preseason schedule is his stage. With Jay Ward and Mishael Powell also fighting for roster spots, every tackle, every coverage play, every hustle moment counts. Brian Flores loves players who fly around, and Owens' college tape, 2 forced fumbles, 2 blocked kicks, shows he's got that fire. Can he bring it to US Bank Stadium? Here's the tease. The first preseason game is days away, and Owens could steal the show. Vikings fans, what do you want to see from him? Big hits, clutch special teams plays, or something else? Hit the comments and let's build the hype for our new safety. SKOL Nation, we're wrapping up this Vikings news bombshell, but the story's just beginning. Gervarrius Owens is a long shot to start, but his signing adds spice to our training camp battles. Waiving Max Tooley was tough, but it clears the path for a deeper safety room as we chase that 2025 playoff run. This is why we love the Minnesota Vikings. Every move, every player, every moment feels like a step toward glory. What's next? Keep your eyes on Vikings.com and our channel for updates on Owens' camp performance. Will he flash in preseason or settle into the practice squad? And don't sleep on our defense. Flores is cooking something special, and players like Owens are the secret sauce. Stay locked in, SKOL Nation, because the purple is rising. Before you go, smash that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts on Owens, and subscribe for more Vikings news. Share this video with your fellow fans, and let's get the SKOL chant going loud. Who's ready for the 2025 season? SKOL Vikings!